APU is quite a unique university in Japan because we have about a 50% split between international students and domestic Japanese students. Students can choose to study in either English or Japanese.
One of the main goals of the English program at APU is to prepare the students for the English medium lectures they need to take.
Our domestic Japanese students of English who study here are taking most of their major courses in Japanese, but they do have to take 20 credits of English lecture courses.
I think the biggest challenge we face in teaching academic English at APU is the fact that we receive students at all different levels.
We have a difficult time placing them correctly into various levels of our program.
It's very hard to get a good grasp of whether or not students are really able to communicate in English.
We had used several tests for placing students into the various levels, but what we found was that we couldn't rely on one test score.
The scores that students were getting were kind of demotivating, I think, for students. We were looking for a test which would more clearly show us the students' progress and show that progress to the students themselves, that a test which they could feel that they were having some success with.
It can be so complicated to fit everything together and make assessments that work for students and to know that they're valid.
I think that's when something standardized like the GSE, the Global Scale of English, came in very handy for us, because now we were able to look at what they could do and create a curriculum around what they could do at the various levels that they were placing into.
The GSE has proved very useful to us in various ways, not only for mapping out the different skills that we're teaching at different levels of the program, but also in terms of reporting to the university.
Being able to track your progress in a language is very important, and in our particular case, we give the students a progress test during the course of a semester. And if you include the placement test we also give the students, which uses GSE, we can, at APU, see the progress they are making.
We are looking at ways not only to help them within the classroom, but to give them the tools that they need to develop those skills outside the classroom independently.
I studied well about vocabulary or reading or like grammar skill or like that in my high school, but it doesn't work.
I learned in junior high school in Japan. There is only learning from teacher, grammatical and speaking and listening. That's based on the book. But in APU, they teach us about grammar and also listening skills and everything like that. Outside of the class, we can use the skills with friends.
My advice for the student is don't be shy and just speak in English.
The change that we've made has had a big impact on their motivation level, also their confidence in test taking, but also just using English in general.
The advice that I would give to other educators who are teaching English is to get away from the teacher-centered, classroom-centered approach and take advantage of the resources that are available.
If you want to reform your curriculum and you think that applying the GSE will be too difficult or take too much effort, I would say it's all worth it. One thing is that students really benefit and they can start to monitor their own progress a lot more closely. And I know teacher feedback is very important, but students being able to monitor their own progress and see short-term and long-term goals through using GSE in the curriculum is just invaluable.